a naively formulated goal transmutes, with time, into the sinister form of life, lie. We cannot navigate without something to aim at, and while we are in this world, we must always navigate. Strengthen the individual. Start with yourself. Take care of yourself. Define who you are. Refine your personality. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you don't. You should take care of, help and be good to yourself the same way you would take care of, help and be good to someone you loved and valued. You need to place one foot in what you have mastered and understood, and the other in what you are currently exploring and mastering. You carry character with you wherever you go, and it allows you to prevail against adversity. Always place your becoming above your current being. It is my firm belief that the best way to fix the world, a handyman's dream, if ever there was one, is to fix yourself. Stop saying those things that make you weak and ashamed. Say only those things that make you strong. Do only those things that you could speak of with honor. Sometimes it seems the only people willing to give advice in a relativistic society are those with the least to offer. In a crisis, the inevitable suffering that life entails can rapidly make a mockery of the idea that happiness is the proper pursuit of the individual. Human female chosenness is also why we are very different from the common ancestor we shared with our chimpanzee cousins, while the latter are very much the same. If you betray yourself, if you say untrue things, if you act out a lie, you weaken your character. You must keep the promises you make to yourself and reward yourself so that you can trust and motivate yourself. You need to determine how to act toward yourself so that you are most likely to become and to stay a good person. You must be cautious because making your life better means adopting a lot of responsibility, and that takes more effort and care than living stupidly in pain and remaining arrogant, deceitful and resentful. It's appropriate and praiseworthy to associate with people whose lives would be improved if they saw your life improve. It is far better to render beings in your care competent than to protect them. Our behavioral patterns are excitingly complex, and psychology is a young science. We are increasingly falling prey to the desperation of meaninglessness. Beauty shames the ugly, strength shames the weak, death shames the living, and the ideal shames us all. Alongside our wish to be free of rules, we all research for structure. To suffer terribly and to know yourself as the cause, that is hell. Anyone who was out to change the world by changing others was to be regarded with suspicion. In order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. You can't long tolerate being swamped and overwhelmed beyond your capacity to cope while you are learning that you still need to know. Chaos can be too much. You don't get to choose not to pay a price, you only get to choose which price you pay. Nietzsche said that a man's worth was determined by how much truth he could tolerate. Rejection of the unknown is tantamount to identification with the devil. The things that pose the greatest threats to your survival are the most real things. Don't ever underestimate the destructive power of sins of omission. If a child has not been taught to behave properly by the age of 4, it will forever be difficult for him or her to make friends. Worthlessness is the default condition. There is a very little difference between the capacity for mayhem and destruction, integrity and strength of character. This is one of the most difficult lessons of life. Depressed people, for example, can start feeling useless and burdensome, as well as grief-stricken and pained. Consult your resentment. It's a revelatory emotion for all its pathology. It's part of an evil triad: arrogance, deceit, and resentment. It is necessary to be strong in the face of death, because death is intrinsic to life. One of the problems with being relatively wealthy, if you are a parent, is that you cannot provide your children with necessity. We require rules, standards, values alone and together. We're pack animals, beasts of burden. We must bear a load to justify our miserable existence. There are so many ways that things can fall apart or fail to work altogether, and it is always wounded people who are holding it together. Maybe God thought his new creation would be able to handle the serpent and considered its presence the lesser of two evils. Much of happiness is hope, no matter how deep the underworld in which that hope was conceived. Relativism's closest approximation to virtue is tolerance.